That was explosive. Oh no. Should I hold it down here? Okay, so with those beautiful entrance, those wonderful sounds, we're going to do a chant, and that always helps if you do a call and response and you respond. It's just really what you're saying, and when you put music to it, it just seems to get you more centered. And then when Jack does his talk, you'll be open to the highest understanding, and then we'll go into the silence in meditation, and then we'll end the service. So I'll call, and then you respond. Don't worry about what you sound like. That's not what's important. Oh, my beloved, kindness of the heart, breath of life, I bow to you. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Coming home to the light within. Divine Master, divine friend, light of all life, I bow to you. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. Light of creation, divine heart, guide my life. I bow to you. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. Coming home to the light within. Breath of life, I bow to you. Coming home 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 to you. Oh, my beloved, kindness of the heart, breath of all life, I bow to you. Divine teacher, divine friend, guide my life. I bow to you. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. And I'm coming home. Coming home. To the light within. Coming home. To the light within. Coming home. To the light within. Coming home to you. 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 Coming home to you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to begin with this from the book of Genesis, chapter 1. This is verse 26. And God said, "Let us make mankind in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it." And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning on the sixth day. Those of you that have been attending my services for a while know that I often say that to feel good is to feel God. And that is an absolute truth. Of course, because of our conditioning in the world, when we think about feeling good, we have all kinds of notions that we have come to believe in. Notions of succeeding as far as the world counts success. Notions of getting our own way over others, getting our own way in circumstances, prevailing with our abilities, our thinking, perhaps our deceit. But prevailing and winning seems to be a way we acknowledge the definition of feeling good. But when I speak about feeling good, I'm not talking about any of those fleeting, limited ideas that we were conditioned to believe in. But I'm speaking about entering a higher state of awareness in which our soul is attuned to the divine consciousness. So our conscious mind has been conditioned over the years by people who themselves are not necessarily anywhere near the enlightened state of awareness. In other words, so many people that have influenced our lives over the years, they themselves have never sought to understand that there's a higher level of consciousness to be attained. They have simply lived in the illusion of separation. And they have projected that illusion in everything that they think and say and do. And it has been projected on everyone around them. And I'm speaking about most of us, our parents, were authority figures that influenced the way we think about life and define life. And then there's the teachers we had in school, just ordinary, mundane school, and then even on to higher education. So most of us really haven't had any influence from an enlightened perspective. So we have gained a definition of life that is flawed. It is literally impossible for that definition of life to bring about that which we really seek, which is harmony, health, joy, peace. It can't, the definition of life as the world understands it, is not going to bring that into anyone's experience. If you're looking for true harmony, peace, love, joy, happiness, health, and true fulfillment, it can only come when we become somewhat concerned about life. We see that the thinking of the world doesn't necessarily bring about harmony or peace. In many cases, we at least see that the thinking of the world is based on the illusion of separation, the changing different personalities that clash with each other on every single level, all the way up to the levels of making war, creating, hate, fear, deceitfulness. All of that comes out of the definition of life that is based upon I am a separate body mind in a world of separate others. And those separate others don't necessarily have my personal self-interests at heart. So I must be very aware. I have to be defensive. I have to be cunning in living my life. And so I live for an idea that cannot be fulfilled. I live thinking that to feel good is to gain the treasures and pleasures of the world. That will never occur. That will never happen. You may have moments of feeling, wow, this has been great. I've been succeeding here. I'm gaining, more money, more power, more prestige, more popularity, whatever it is. But it will fail and it will fade because we are not strictly physical human beings. We are divine beings going through a physical expression so that at some point we have to recognize that we are called upon to see the flaw in the thinking of the world, and then to take our consciousness to task to transcend that limited understanding, that limited definition of life based upon separation. And I sometimes use the illustration of a musical instrument like a guitar or a violin. If those strings in the guitar are loosely strung, no matter how good you are as a guitar player, you're never going to make music with it. They can't just be loosely strung. They have to be strung in a certain way, with a certain tension, each string, in order to fulfill what? The design of the guitar. Those strings have to be tuned to fulfill the design of the guitar that can then make music. Likewise, human beings cannot have this slipshod, lackadaisical, illusion-driven consciousness and hope that they will eventually bring about healing, harmony, and happiness in their lives. They're not. That's why we have so many broken relationships, so many limited conflicts in our personal lives. And then we look at the world and we see that these conflicts are exacerbated by large numbers of people. Politics gets in the middle of it, but there is no understanding, or there is no insight, there is no enlightenment. Because it can only come from tuning our own consciousness. So it is like we were born with the strings all very loose and not tuned at all. And then as we try to work with it, we may decide to try to tune it. Or we might look at some people that have tuned the guitar. We call them masters. They understand how you tune the guitar. And so you can learn from them how to tune your guitar. And as you start to tune your own awareness with your Creator, the divine intelligence of life itself, you start to then have a peace that is not contingent upon your personal eccentric point of view. In other words, your ego-centered idea of peace is based on getting your desires met, your personal desires met in the world, having your expectations met by people and circumstances around you in the world or on the job where you work. But that is not the peace that is being promised by the Master of life. The peace he is promising is a peace that does not fade or break away from you with the changing circumstances of the world. It is a peace when you have attuned your consciousness to the higher level of awareness, which is the awareness of the divine, God, Christ, Buddha nature, the Tao, whatever particular spiritual path you might be interested in researching. That path will also have for you all the necessary things one has to do to attune one's own awareness to this higher level of consciousness, a level in which you have insight and you have a peace that surpasses the understanding of the world. It surpasses the thinking of the world. Because if you want to know what the thinking of the world is about, you simply have to see all that is taking place in the conflict and the confusion of the world. That is all brought about by the thinking of separation, the illusion that I'm a separate body-mind, my personal self-interests do not necessarily align with anybody else around me. I have to be careful, I have to be cunning, I have to do what I can to manipulate and get my own way so that I can eventually accumulate the things from the world that I want. Those things then will make me happy, bring me peace, and make me free. You just have to look at some of the people that seemingly have gained everything the world has to offer. I'm talking about movie stars, rock stars. I'm not saying all of them have lost touch with reality completely. Some of them have gone on to the spiritual journey, have taken the task in their own awareness, but there's so many of them that having gained so much money and so much power, so much prestige, but then wound up in alcoholic treatment centers, drug treatment centers. They had to take drugs. I'll give you one example, which is really concerning. I'm talking about an actor that was making $10 million a movie and got caught in a traffic jam and became so irate at the idea that he was being held up. His time was being not spent according to what he wanted to spend it on. He leaped out of his car to the car in front of him, leaped on the hood with a golf club and just smashed the windshield of that car. That act of insanity cost him about $5 million in the lawsuit. So you can see, and I'm talking about, well, look at Michael Jackson, a phenomenal talent. He was brilliant. He was creative. He was amazing. But he had a hard time sleeping. He couldn't find that peace that we want after a hard day's work. Couldn't find that peace that we seek in life when we want to just feel good. And he couldn't find it and had to ask his doctor to give him some kind of injection that will help him sleep. The loss of a phenomenal talent, of course. But I'm saying that if you look at these people that have everything, I mean, Michael Jackson had more money than he could burn. If he wanted to burn it the rest of his life, he'd never have enough time to burn all the money that was coming into him. He was certainly a worthy and great talent. So was so many of these superstars that wind up. Some of them take their own lives. Why is that? It is because they have not opened up their consciousness to their divine nature. When I say the divine nature, the only thing that's going to bring fulfillment, happiness, peace, healing, love, the only thing that can do that is opening up to our core nature, which is the nature of God. We're made in the image and likeness of God. That's what the scripture says. That's all that Jesus is ever talking about. To get involved in cultivating that nature again, bring it back to our conscious awareness, and live from that guiding nature. And then you'll get what he promises in the book of John, chapter 10, the abundant life you've been seeking. So, there are many ways to go about realigning our consciousness, our awareness. Certainly one of them is through meditation. Taking time to quiet the worldly mind. Our worldly mind is almost forever, is in fact, continually planning, seeking, wanting to make the future better, or bemoaning the past for things that have happened and that have taken place. And some people are forever in a state of negative self-condemnation because certain things happened and they made the really worst decisions and did things that they can't forget, and they should, because it doesn't help anybody for you to go around feeling guilty. You only create more problems for yourself and everyone else. That's why we have the ability to forgive. Not just others, but ourselves. Move on. Do better then next time. But that's our calling, by the way. To attune ourselves to our true nature, which is divine. And at the core of our being, that nature exists. You have to go within, and meditation is one of the spiritual practices that we use. I have to remind people that whenever you sit down or lay down to meditate, and some people lie down to meditate, whenever you attempt to meditate, what you are doing is you are practicing quieting the mind. You're not fighting with your thoughts. Don't try to drive limited thinking out of your mind. You simply watch it. You simply see limited thoughts coming in, and you let them pass by. And you choose higher thoughts. For instance, you get into a conflict, and as soon as you realize you're in a conflict, and you're holding resentment against anything or anyone, you pause and realize that you're not fulfilling your destiny to happiness. You may feel vindicated. Oh boy, I got over on him this time. Yeah, I taught him a big lesson. I taught them a lesson. He should have known better, and I got over on him. That kind of thinking is for the insane of the world. They want to remain insane. That's all they're going to find in life. But if you want to find your way into life truly worth living, then you pause and you look at your thinking and you say, I don't have to feel this way. I can let this go. I can choose peace. I can ask within the core of my being, what would bring peace in this situation? How can I maintain peace now? And you will be answered how to do it. It'll speak to you very subtly in your heart. It'll speak to you. Let it go. Instead of resisting this particular situation that's arisen, go to work with it. Work with it the way you'd want to work with it before God. Work with it. Fix it. Serve it. Don't resist it. Don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Don't be angry at it. Don't curse it. That's crazy. That's the world of crazy. You want life? You want it abundantly? I'm not speaking to you from a book. I'm speaking to you from someone who was crazy. I was crazy, extremely crazy. But I know now how to have peace that surpasses the understanding of the world. And that's all I'm talking about. Let me share this with you from the Master of Masters that's present today. This is Eckhart Tolle from his book, Stillness Speaks. You can find this on page 9, paragraph 1. Do you need more knowledge? Is more information going to save the world? Or faster computers? More scientific or intellectual analysis? Is it not wisdom that humanity needs most at this time? I'll read that again, because he'll go on in this book to share with you ways for one to align his or her consciousness with divine consciousness. Do we need more knowledge? Is more information going to save the world? Or faster computers? More scientific or intellectual analysis? Is it not wisdom that humanity needs most at this time? Then he will go on to say this. But what is wisdom, and where is it to be found? Wisdom comes with the ability to be still. Just look and just listen. No more is needed. Being still, looking and listening activates the non-conceptual intelligence within you. Let stillness direct your words and actions. This is from Stillness Speaks, page 9. But what is wisdom, and where is it to be found? Wisdom comes with the ability to be still. Just look and just listen. No more is needed. Being still, looking and listening activates the non-conceptual intelligence within you. Let stillness direct your words and actions. So this is his reference to the practice of meditation. You don't have to make your mind be quiet. You can't, actually. You have to take an affirmation, an idea, a mantra, or even reading some spiritual material, or listening to some spiritual music begins to move your awareness toward the desire to feel good. To feel good, listen to this. Suppose you don't take anything else out of here tonight, but you take this line with you and you bring it to mind during the course of your living in the next day or so. So I'll reiterate the premise leading to this line. So you don't fight with your thoughts and try to drive them out of your mind. You simply become quieter, quiet your mind. You do some spiritual reading in a spiritual book, listen to spiritual music. And you feel as you're doing that, because you want to feel good, here it is, for no apparent reason in the world. You just want to feel good for no apparent reason in the world. Circumstances don't have to turn around and work according to your expectations. People don't have to fulfill your desires for how they're going to be to you. Other things and conditions and people and circumstances don't have to do a damn thing. You're beginning to practice like a master of life. You're quieting your mind because you want to gain that enlightened consciousness in which you feel good for no apparent reason. And that's what the masters live in. They live in that. That's why Eckhart Tolle can speak to us in such a way as to say, become okay living the now moment. Letting the past go completely, not seeking to fix or align or improve the future, no way. You simply become present in the now with the circumstances as they are. And you check yourself out to see if you have any inner resistance to the circumstances. So you're not learning to live for the future, but you're learning to live for the present moment. And as you do that, your mind rises into the awareness of your divine consciousness. You become God conscious. And everything changes. Everything becomes sacred. You have insight. You are appropriate because you're one with the moment as it is. You're not resisting the moment because it has denied you your personal self-interest. You're just allowing the moment to be whatever it is. And you're choosing to be at peace and flowing with the moment as it occurs, moment to moment to moment. And as you do that and practice your meditation, you will become enlightened. You will be a master of life. The only way to master life is by entering the moment and releasing yourself from the separation that the mind has embraced over all these years. Releasing that. What happens when you release that separation? Just think about what would happen if you release that separation. What happens? Everyone you're looking at becomes part of you. They're part of God. You're no longer holding judgments or condemnation because they personally think and act different than your personal expectations, desires, and dictates and demands that you make on people. So you're not judging them. You're not condemning them. you're allowing them to be whoever they are. You're allowing life to be whatever it is. And there is a peace in that that brings you insight, healing, love, wisdom, joy. So, in the Course in Miracles, it explains to us the will of God, the will of the Creator that is creating us moment to moment to moment. God's will is your salvation. This is from A Course in Miracles. Would He not have given you the means to find it? If He wills you to have it, He must have made it possible and easy to obtain. Your brothers and sisters are everywhere. You do not have to seek far for salvation. Every minute and every second gives you a chance to save yourself. Do not lose these chances, not because they will not return, but because delay of joy is needless. God wills you perfect happiness now. Is it possible that this is not also your will? And is it possible that this is not also the will of your brothers and sisters? Consider then that in this joint will you are all united, and this only. There may be disagreements on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides, and you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot decide in peace unless you accept the at-one-ment, because the at-one-ment is the way to peace. Just listen to this last part of this. This is the entire essence at the heart of every major religion. I'm not talking about the crackpot religions that spring up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the major religions: Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, Taoism, all the Sikhism. All those major religions come to this right here at the end. There may be disagreement on anything else, but not on this. This then is where peace abides. And you abide in peace when you so decide. Yet you cannot abide in peace unless you accept at-one-ment. That's the end of separation. You're willing to drop judgment, being right, being smarter than, bigger than, bolder than, stronger than, being able to voice your will on others, manipulate, cheat, steal, carry on according to the world to get what it is you think is going to make you happy, but it can't. This is what it's saying. Accept the fact that everything you look upon, everyone you see, is also God and worthy of forgiveness, consideration, peace. We're going to meditate together now. Begin by taking a couple of deep breaths. As you release your breath, release any cares or concerns you may have brought with you. They are all ego-centered, body-centered, illusion-centered problems. See that confirmation I got from the sound system? Is that your mic? No, all right. So release. Become willing to just be sitting here, allowing the moment to be what it is, not fighting, not fearing, not wanting, not judging, just letting this moment be what it is. And it may help you to bring to mind this ideal truth. You can use this as your guiding mantra. If you feel other thoughts coming in to take away your attention, don't struggle, just bring this mantra back into focus in your mind. Everything I look upon, everything I see is only God waiting for me. Everything I look upon, everything I see is only God waiting for me. Everyone I look upon, everyone I see is part of God, just like me. Everything I look upon, everything I see is only God waiting for me. in this refined level of awareness, we will offer the names of those who have been submitted to our prayer list. As Norma calls each name, just let the awareness of being one in the presence of God, and just knowing that for yourself, reaches that person.
Laura LeBlanc, Sia Nypower, Sarah Nicky, Sarah Simmerl, Robert Learman, Ty and Katia Learman, Gracia Wilkie, Ryan and Tanner Wilkie, Ed Bruder, Watts Dudley, Natasha and family, Jenna Long, Mike, Jean Cooney, Michael and Elaine, the Crawford family, Bert L., Chrissy, Brandon, Nick, Ruth, Sal, Celeste, Lissa, Michelle, Saya family and friends, women of the world, LGBTQ community, minorities, unhoused, poor in finances, Kai, Robert, Henry John Willis, Maxine, Dee Dee, Abby, Alex Gola, Andrea, Chip, Michael, Elaine, Lori, school families, Sebastian, Willow, Suzanne Weir, Sandy Spahn, Kaylee, Matt, Brock, Rachel Gooding Lord, Nicole and her embryos, Dan and wife, Chester Phillips, Jonathan Goodwill, Abby Zacklet, Marlo, Caroline, Christina and sister-in-law and family, Zachert, Anthony, Rigpa Lejoli, the American people, employers of the United States government departments and nonprofit agencies, the United States Supreme Court and other federal courts, Cindy, Gail, Kristen, Holly, David, Stephanie, Travis, Sue H., Violet, Petra, Miles, Eris, all immigrants. And you can call out a name at this time if you'd like to do so.
Jackson, M. D. Matthew and family, S. Casey and family, S. Daniel and family, Sandy Spahn, Dan Spahn,
The Maha Organization,
Diane M.
We see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people's names that have been submitted throughout the month. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us take a moment now to enter the vision of life. We see the divine healing love of consciousness, rising in the awareness of everyone sharing this Boulder community with us. This healing love consciousness rising in the awareness of everyone sharing the state of Colorado with us. This rising healing love consciousness rising in the people sharing the United States of America. And this divine consciousness rising everywhere in the world, in every nation, in every race, in every religion, recognizing the presence of God as love and peace, wisdom and service. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And those of you that are watching this live stream, you can scroll down to that place that says donate, or if you're on our website, you can go scroll to the top right-hand corner, which gives you ways to donate to Unity of Boulder. So you'll be donating to that truth that you are seeking to embrace so that you can come to the life truly worth living. So it is worth supporting Unity of Boulder. And everyone here can take into their hands that gift they'd like to make to Unity of Boulder. And we bless them with this offering prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forever more.
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth. The Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. So, this Sunday we'll have our two services, the 9 a.m. and the 11 a.m. service. You're welcome to join that and be there. We got any other announcements today?
The gift shop is open. It also has books in there. But the most incredible gifts, if you're ever looking for a special item for any moment, any day, it's in that store. So if you've never been in there, we have refreshments, and we would like to talk to you if you'd like to speak to us. And that's going to be right after the service. So we'll see you, hopefully, in the gift store.
Through these doors, to your left, to everyone Have a beautiful evening.